It has been made under the guidance of Raj sir himself, and DGEF along with TILA is inaugurating the course on this platform. This course, as like the parallel courses, lawyers, law students, and engineers, everyone who's interested in laws relating to renewable energy sector would be benefited, and they would be knowing more about the business prospectus and want to invest in this sector will immensely benefit from this course. This course deals with renewable energy land acquisition laws and will also explain various laws related to new renewable energy in India. So coming to the chapterization, this course has been divided into 6 modules. Each and every module has a comprehensive details about various segments, various informative topics about how a process of land acquisition happens in India, and what are the various statutes, what are the various policies that one has to take care before applying for such as acquisitions. So renewable energy in India is the only key towards an environmental friendly, sustainable future. Replacing the non-renewable sources by renewable energy sources will save the world from the cataclysmic effects of the climate change. The recent COVID pandemic situation that the world faced showed us that we have the only environment to fall back on when things go wrong, and thus it is our duty to protect it. Renewable sources will reduce pollution to a huge extent, and the reduction in the release of greenhouse gases will also minimize the global warming, which is one of the largest environmental issues in the world right now. Among various renewable energy production methods, both solar and wind energy technologies are the ones that are land intensive in nature. Considering the current land usage trends, about 150,000 hectares of land would be required to support 50 gigawatt of ground mounted solar and 30 gigawatt of wind capacity, considering land requirements of 2 hectares per megawatt for solar photovoltaic energy projects and 1.5 hectares per megawatt of wind energy prospects. So this is why there is a need in the environment and in the legal atmosphere to be aware about various land acquisition policies, and thus this course would be helping the people in doing so. The module 1 of the course talks about land acquisitions, which is an introduction and about their importance. So it's a basic introduction to the tenets of the course. It defines renewable energy resources and land acquisitions, so that the comprehensive course that has been set out is understandable for the readers. The acquisition in this module has been defined as a procurement of land. The state, the union government in India has the power to acquire private land, industrial urbanization, etc. is known as land acquisitions. The affected landowners are compensated for their rehabilitation and resettlement. There are various statutes governing the land acquisitions in India, such as the Land Acquisition Act of 1894, Indian Tramways Act of 1886, the Damodar Valley Corporation Act of 1948, the National Highways Act of 1956, etc. A humane and transparent process has been adopted by the government for acquisition of land for urbanization, that is setting up of railways, metros, roads, airports, etc., and industrialization, that is setting up of industries and essential industrial facilities. For setting up of infrastructural facilities related to the renewable resources, there has been various statutes that have been sent down, and each and every statute has been discussed in a thorough detail in the upcoming modules. In the end, the chapter 4 of the module 1 discusses the reasons for land acquisition by analyzing the section 2 of the Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act 2013, which states that the union or state governments can acquire the land for own use, hold and control, including the public sector undertakings and for public purpose. Cases such as State of Maharashtra versus Chandrabhan Tale have been referred so as to put forth the point that land acquisitions, for example, understanding the definition of public purpose, which has been used in the Act, so that there is an elucidated understanding of these policies. Moving to the module 2, which has been themed as Solar Policies with State and Central Electricity Act 2013, it has been divided into 3 parts discussing the current continuing solar policies and electricity policies in India. For anyone stepping in this field of working, it is pertinent to be aware of these policies. From getting the permission to set up a power plant to the proper functioning of the plant, these policies play a crucial role in each and every step. And thus, central policies such as Indian Electricity Act, the Indian Electricity Supply Act, the Electricity Regulatory Commission Act, and 12 other such policies have been briefly discussed, and the sections pertinent for our discussions have been analyzed. State-centric policies, as well as the amendments that have been done to state amendments that have been done to Central Electricity Acts have also been discussed deeply. It moves to module 3 of the course. is essentially limited to the discussion of the process of private limited agricultural land acquisition and approvals needed for the agricultural land acquisition. It starts with a discussion on right to light, putting forth the Supreme Court judgment of State of Haryana versus Mukesh Kumar 2011, wherein it was declared that right to property is not only a constitutional or statutory right, but also a human right. The state cannot take possession of it without following the procedure and authority that has been prescribed in law. It moves to discuss the various provisions of the Central Land Acquisition Act and state amendments as well. Land acquisition falls under the concurrent list, and so both the state and central government can make amendments to the laws governing this matter according to the local needs and evolving time. The important stages of land acquisition, such as preliminary stage, publication of the notification, inquiring on the object petitions, if any, survey and preparation of subdivision records, preparation and publication of declarations, determination of compensation, awarding compensation, taking possession and handing over possession, reference to the courts, steps, each and every step has been analyzed for a better understanding of the process. Final phase of the module talks about the set process of acquisition and the issues that are being faced. For example, increasing land costs, lack of clear land titles due to poor record keeping and division of land, etc. Module 4 of the course talks about land acquisition by the central and state governments and public sector undertakings. It is a technical module putting forth the process of government land acquisition in a detailed manner. Determination and apportionment of compensation during the acquisition and concept of rehabilitation and resettlement also during the acquisition processes have been highlighted. Module 5 has been themed legal issues and landmark judgments. Analysis of judgment not only put forth the current legal and jurisprudential attribute of these policies, but again it also highlights the development in the sector since independence. This module analyzes the Indian judgments pertaining to the acquisitions. Around 20 judgments have been discussed, thoroughly presenting different issues related to land acquisition process and how various Indian judicial bodies have resolved them with their impeccable interpretation. It also has a chapter focused on discussing the comparative study between the government and private land acquisitions. Concepts like public-private partnership projects and regulatory laws like the right to fair compensation and transparency land acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act have also been analyzed in the said module. The last module of the course, which is module number 6, is again a technical module, themed workshop on legal due diligence report, transactional documentation and registration of the conveyance. Concepts like due diligence with respect to land acquisition laws have been analyzed in this part of the module. Due diligence is an investigation or exercise of care that is how like each and every process before starting takes about. Like whenever a person has to start a reasonable business, the person has to take due diligence or exercise a certain amount of care before entering into such an agreement or contract with another party or act with a certain standard of care. It refers to reasonable verifications and precautions taken to identify and prevent foreseeable risks. The idea behind this investigation is to understand that if there will be any future legal problems due to this acquisition or not. The documents pertinent to the acquisition process, such as the title documents, record of the rights, are all defined using pictorial assistance as well as for better understanding. There has been a discussion about how each and every document during this process will be filed. The section is followed by a chapter on registration of conveyance. Conveyancing is a transfer of legal right of real property from one person to another, or the granting of the encumbrance, such as mortgage or a lien. It is basically a contract in which the seller transfers the title, ownership, rights, interest in a property to the legal owner. Selling a property purchase or property without a conveyancing is incomplete without a conveyance deed. The validity of the conveyance deed, the essential elements of the conveyance deed, each and every elements has been briefly defined in the module. So this is the basics of the land acquisition module, and I would like to call the guest of the honor, Rashi ma'am, who's the founder member and managing director of the Vision Mechatronics Private Limited, to release the course on renewable energy land acquisition laws on this global platform.
Congratulations, Udisha, and congratulations, Rajji, for such wonderful initiatives that we are seeing from TILA coming up. And this will be a real boon to this to the industry and the academia also, because we really need such new courses coming up to keep up with the energy transition that we all are going through. So once again, congratulations, Sudisha, for this wonderful course that you've laid out. And thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.